This is Brian Short. I'm one of the partners here at NetPicks, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. As always, we want you to ask any question that you have and make sure that you walk away with all your questions answered. And that can be done in the text box. I'll be responding to those while Mike is talking via text, and then at the end we will have a very interactive Q&A. The last session that we did, we went quite a while, a lot of good questions. So no question is a dumb question. Feel free to get that in right away. So we're going to talk a little bit about who NetPicks is and why you need to listen to us. And today's specific topic, we're going to look over Mike's shoulder and take a look at some of his recent trades from the live market conditions. One of the things that makes us unique here at NetPicks is we are traders first. Before we got on the mic here, Mike and I were talking about the trades we took today. We had a really, really good trading day on the future side of what we do. But and Mike's had some really good options trades, which he's going to show you here in a little bit because the market has really been moving very nicely. And so we're going to show you how you can make a killing specifically on some of these trades and how you can copy our results. So here's the Brady Bunch picture that we like to talk about. That's me top left, Mark Soberman, my partner, top right, and Will, who's on the call. He's actually helping us with support. TJ Noonan, I'm sure many of you have heard of TJ and the systems that he has. And then Mike's bottom right-hand corner here. He'll be on the mic here in just a little bit talking to us. So NetPicks has been around 17 years. We have literally trained thousands of traders on trading strategies. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that I think makes us different from our competition is that we are real traders in the market each and every day using the strategies that we talk to you about for our own personal trading. And so we've had the experience. We've had the ups and downs that you can have with trading, and we've been there before. And so that's really one of the reasons why we feel that you should listen to us. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Mike, and he is going to take us through the charts, show us some current trades that he's closed out, trading options. And so Mike, with that, I am going to flip it over to you on the projector. So while I'm doing that, why don't you say a quick hello and welcome everybody.
All right, thank you, Brian. So welcome to everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day here to join us. Let me get my charts up here, and we'll go ahead and start to walk through some of my most recent options trades. So let me make sure I have the correct one up here. So Brian, if that's not coming through, just stop me. Should be coming through at this point. So like Brian mentioned, all the coaches here at NetPicks were all full-time traders. Okay, that was a huge selling point for me back when I was just getting my start in trading, and when I came across NetPicks, it was a huge selling point for me because I wanted to learn from somebody that was actually doing it. I didn't want to learn from somebody that was just trained on how to use the system, but they didn't have any money in the game. Like Brian mentioned, we took trades, both of us, all morning long. It's been a very, very active morning for me on both the day trading side and the swing trading side. So that's why I love working with NetPicks. We're a group of traders working together. As you'll see here today, I'm a full-time trader. I'm not a full-time salesman. What I'm trying to show you here today is how you can be successful in the markets and how I'm doing it each and every day. So for those of you that joined us last week, if you're just a repeat viewer, I want to welcome you in. For those of you that are just new, this is your first time attending a webinar, I just want to give you some background info on myself before we get into the meat of the presentation. I've been trading for about 11 years now. I started back when I was in college. I was just a broke college student studying finance, and what really frustrated me was the fact that I was gaining all this knowledge, but I wasn't able to profit from it. I had no money to work with. So as a very impatient college student, I really was determined to find a way to profit right then and there. I didn't want to wait till I graduated and got a job. And that's when I stumbled across the options markets. And I just love the fact that they were very leveraged products. They allowed me to get in, take some decent sized positions with very low capital. And fortunately, I had some success early on. Actually, I could say unfortunately as well, because what it did, it established some bad habits. I had no methodology to stand on. Okay, I was just trading off of a hunch. Okay, any type of tip or article that I found online, that's what I was trading off of. And I really found some success early on trading around earnings. Well, if you've been involved in the markets for any length of time, you know that earnings, they can be tricky. Okay, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get burned very quickly. And I ended up giving back all my profits and then some. Okay, I made the mistake of thinking that the markets were easy. Well, the market has a really uncanny way of punishing you if you don't have a very tried and true system that you can rely on. So it was after that that I had a chance to go down to the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange for some training. And it was really eye-opening to interact with professional traders because I saw how differently they approached the markets. They were thinking 2, 3, and 4 steps ahead. Okay, they had a plan in place. They weren't just placing a trade and fingers crossed hoping for the best like I was. Okay, they had a very tried and true method in place. So I left that experience knowing that I had to take a step back. I had to find some type of a methodology that put the odds in my favor. And through a lot of research, a lot of trying out different types of products and systems, I came across NetPicks. And what I really appreciated about the NetPicks company was the fact that they didn't promise me instant fortunes. Okay, they didn't promise me overnight success. What they promised me was a methodology that would put the odds in my favor over the long haul. And after my experience on the floor of the exchange, that's exactly what I was looking for. So I've been using their products ever since. Okay, they're extremely powerful products, which you'll see here in just a moment. I'm mostly an options trader. I do dabble on the day trading side of things. I do like to stay engaged with the market as much as possible. However, if I look back over the past 11 years, I've made most of my income from the options side of things. Okay, and that's my preferred style of trading. If you were to force me to pick one style of trading for the rest of my career, it's going to be options. Okay, it's by far the most profitable way, in my opinion, to make money from the markets. And we're going to walk through why that is here in just a moment. Okay, so for those of you that are just joining us here today, I want to walk through some of the main reasons why I like to trade the options markets. I've heard all of the excuses on why people stay out of these markets. They seem too complex. They may sound too expensive when you take a look at the overall trade cost. How about they're too risky? Okay, we've all heard how risky the derivatives markets can be over the past couple of years. Okay, all of those factors, they couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, there's a lot of benefits that work in your favor if you know how to trade these products correctly. So just a few of my few main points here on why I'm involved in these markets. First is the time aspect. Okay, when I talk about day trading, did I day trade in 20 minutes today? No, it took me a couple of hours before I wrapped up all of my trading. Okay, it takes time. Not everybody's available that long every day in order to do that. I'm going to talk through how on my swing trading, I'm looking at the charts in 20 minutes or less a day. Okay, now that might sound like a gimmick. It's not. I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. Okay, it's very, very powerful because it gives me a lot of flexibility as far as time goes. I'm not stuck in the office all day long. Okay, I'm not stuck staring at every tick. I'm able to stay involved in the markets with very little time commitment. It's perfect for those of you that have other jobs to get to, other commitments to get to. It's a great way to stay involved in the markets and get your feet wet. Next is the leverage. I already talked about this. Back as a broke college student, I had to take advantage of this leverage. And for the retail traders, we're all retail traders. We all have access to limited funds, regardless of your account size. I don't care if you're trading $5,000 or $5 million. We have access to limited funds, so we have to make good use of that capital. We have to make sure we're trading leverage products, and there's a lot of different products out there that you could trade. Do futures offer great leverage? Do Forex markets offer great leverage? They do. But there's some issues there. Let's take the Forex side of things for an example. Okay, Forex, it's a 24-hour market. Do I want to wake up in the middle of the night wondering what my Forex trade is doing? No, I don't want to have to get up and check that. If I wake up in the middle of the night wondering what my options trade is doing, there's not a single thing I can do until the market opens 9:30 the next morning. Okay, I like that feature. I also like the feature that options they're traded in a very regulated environment. They're traded on a centralized exchange. There's not the manipulation that goes on that you see in the Forex markets or on some of the penny stocks that are out there. I want to trade the high flyers. I want to trade the names that are in the news that are very active back and forth. Names like Apple and Google and Amazon. Well, the leverage that options offer, they allow me to trade any stock and ETF out there. And we can do so for a fraction of the cost. Okay, next is the consistency. Okay, I just talked with a trader here this past weekend. He was stuck in the office. He was scanning stocks for a couple hours on Saturday. He was in again on Sunday scanning stocks. The issue I have with that, I realize what he's trying to do. He's trying to find the best names to trade for the next week. But if you pull up a list of 5 names off of a scan on a nightly or a weekly basis, can you trade those products with confidence? Do you know how those stocks move? Are you familiar with the products? Are you familiar with how the options trade? Are they going to release earnings coming up? Okay, what I'd rather do is trade the same names consistently. When I look at my watch list, I have traded the same names over the past number of years. My watch list does not change all that often. That gives me a huge advantage because I'm very familiar with how my products work. Finally, the flexibility. Options are the only products out there that allow you to benefit from up, down, and sideways moving markets. Okay, we all know when the market moves, you have a lot of different options. Okay, the market's moving today. There's a lot of different products that you can trade. But when the market gets slow and moves sideways, gets choppy, that's the dreaded market condition that traders really, they get confused, they get frustrated. Well, when you trade the options markets, there's definitely strategies that benefit from that. They allow you to profit from when the market does absolutely nothing. It's a huge feature that I like to have in my corner. I like to have those go-to strategies that allow me to make money regardless of what the market's doing. Okay, I know we've got a lot of options traders in here, so that last slide, I'm probably preaching to the choir a bit. Okay, you guys have probably seen the profit potential. Okay, we've got a good portion of you that are still working on trying to become profitable, and I completely understand that. So let's get into why is the NetPicks method, why is the Premier Trader University method different than what you're already doing? How is that going to give you an advantage? Let's walk through some charts here. I want to go to some live charts, take a look at current market action, just to show you how is this system different. Okay, so I'm going to start out like I usually do. If you heard me speak in the past, you know that I am a huge fan of Apple, symbol AAPL. It's probably been my favorite product to trade for the last 5-6 years. I mean, it's just allowed me to make some great profits on this stock. So there's a couple of power factors that really, I call them power factors. They're factors that allow the NetPicks system to really produce some really nice results. And the first power factor that I talk about is the use of range charts. If you look at this chart, I'm not looking at a time-based chart. I'm not looking at an hourly chart. I'm not looking at a daily chart. We're printing bars here every time Apple moves $6.18. Okay, that might take 2 minutes, it could take 2 hours, it could take 2 days. Okay, what this does, I get the question all the time, Mike, what is your favorite chop filter? How do I stay out of the dreaded choppy markets? Well, this is a great way to have a filter built in to keep you out of those choppy markets. Okay, if the market's not moving, the chart's not going to print bars. If you're looking at an hourly chart and the market starts to slow down, that chart is still forced to print bars every hour. Okay, that can get pretty messy. Okay, by looking at a range chart, it's not perfect. You're going to have losing trades. It's not the holy grail. But what it does is it keeps me out of a lot of choppy conditions. Just look at the chart right now. Okay, do you see a lot of nice swings back and forth? Okay, you can see a lot of nice winning trades here. The range charts really give you a nice, clean looking chart in a lot of cases. So that's reason number one. Okay, reason number two, and this was probably the biggest breakthrough for my trading, really going back 11 years, and it's through the use of a very simple system with the use of a very advanced calculator. Okay, this is single-handedly the most powerful system I've ever used in 11 years. Okay, I've used some pretty complex systems. They look great initially. When you start to use them in real time, you're just looking at way too many factors. Well, this is pretty simple and straightforward. What am I looking at here? Well, I'm looking at my sentiment indicator down here at the bottom. That's the histogram. That tells me if I'm bullish or bearish. And I'm also looking at the signal line. That's the blue line cutting through the middle of the screen here. Okay, those are the two indicators that I look at to drive my setups. Now the series of dots here, that's what's known as our calculator. Okay, this is a huge tool. This is really what allows me to trade in 20 minutes or less. Okay, because everything's programmed into this calculator. When all of my entry criteria is met, it's going to print a setup, and that setup is marked by these plus signs. I've also got targets here, these white dots. I've also got stops down here, represented by the red dots. Okay, so when I get a setup on my chart, there's no guesswork. There's no drawing trend lines. There's no putting 20 different indicators on the chart. It's just not necessary. Okay, it allows me to come in a very short amount of time, determine should I be in the market, should I not be in the market. When I get a setup, do I have to worry about calculating targets and stops on the fly? No, I don't. I'm able to focus on using the proper option strategy. So when I get a long setup here on Apple, the system's telling me to get long at 461.79. I've got a first target up at 474.15, a second target at 480.95, and a stop at 443.25. Okay, all of that hard lifting is done for me. Now it's up to me to determine, okay, am I going to buy the stock? Am I going to buy the shares of stock? Am I going to buy a call option? I could buy a call spread. I could sell a put spread. There's a number of different ways that I could play this. And by having all of this hard work done, determining where to get in and where to get out, it allows me to focus on what is going to be the most profitable option strategy to use. Okay, it saves me a huge amount of time. Now notice here on this last long trade that completed, we talked about these trades last week. Okay, once I hit my first target, notice how my stop went from the full stop, it went up to break even. Everything's programmed into the calculator. It manages the trade for me. Okay, these are very, very powerful moves. In fact, those trades that we covered last week, each one of these trades gave us a $1,400 profit a piece. Okay, those are close to 100% returns on each one of those trades. Okay, extremely powerful. Okay, let's take a look at some trades that were just closed here recently. Okay, let's switch over, because the system looks great here on Apple, right? Does it change? Is it really customized to Apple? Well, let's pull up Priceline. Okay, Priceline's a $900 plus stock. Is this on the radar for most retail traders? Probably not. It's just way too pricey. Okay, let's take a look at this long trade. I just closed this one out here yesterday. Okay, this was a long setup. It actually set up and triggered in. It triggered in on the 1st. Okay, so it triggered in last week. Okay, does the system look the same as the Apple chart? Do you see your entry points printed? Do you see your targets, your stop? Absolutely. The only difference here is going to be the range. Okay, we're looking at a range of 8.24. Every stock's going to have a different range setting for obvious reasons. I mean, a $900 stock is going to be trading a different range than a $50 stock. And we look at one formula. We make one calculation a month. So we get the range setting once a month. So at the end of July, I came in. I did one simple calculation. It took me about 10 seconds. And I got my range. I'm going to use 8.24 for the whole month of August. Okay, once we hit the end of August, I'm going to come in. I'm going to make one calculation. And I'm going to get my range set up for September. Okay, that's huge because it really allows me to stay in sync with current market conditions. Okay, the market conditions now are probably going to be totally different than what they are at the end of the year. So do I want to force the same chart settings to work if the market's totally different a couple of months from now? No, I want to have the ability to adjust. I want to have the ability to stay in sync with how the market's moving. Okay, so that's the power of the system. So on this long setup, go ahead and pull up my data window here so we can take a look at the numbers. So this long setup, my entry point was just above the 896 level, 896.06 to be exact. My first target's at 912.54. My second target's at 918.72. And my initial stop was down at 869.28. Okay, now could I buy the shares of stock? I could. Okay, that's an option. Could I buy a call option? That's my preferred method compared to buying the stock. So let's take a look at how we could play this. In this case, we went ahead and bought the August 880 call for $38.40. That gave us control of 100 shares of Priceline at $880 a share, and I paid just over $3,800 per contract for that. Now, some of you might be looking at that saying that's extremely pricey, and it's true. The options on a $900 stock, they're pricey. Okay, I'm going to show you a way that you can reduce your risk here in just a second. So let's just play this trade out here with the call option first. So I hit the target on the 5th, so I was in the trade for 4 days. That's with the weekend factored in. Okay, so it was a very, very quick trade. I sold out of my position for $61.70. That gave me over $2,300 of profit, or a 61% return in 4 days. Okay, so I just got done telling you on the last 2 Apple trades, we had $2,800 of profit. We've got over $2,300 of profit here on the Priceline trade. Can you see how this is quickly supplementing an income, possibly replacing an income down the road? These are the types of trades that I see all the time. I'm not cherry picking trades. This trade was just closed out here yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at the vertical spread. Okay, let's take a look at how we could reduce the cost. We talked about vertical spreads here last week. So what I did in this case is you could buy the $8.95 call, but at the same time, we're also going to sell the $9.20 call. So you're going to collect some premium to help offset the purchase of the $8.95 call. So now all of a sudden, we're able to put that position on for $11.15. Okay, so that's just over $1,100 per spread. Now we hit target. I sold out of my position for $14.70. That gave me $355 of profit, or a 32% return. Okay, so am I giving up some profit potential here? Yes, there's trade-offs. Okay, by using a spread, I'm lowering my cost, I'm lowering my risk, but I'm also limiting my profit potential. Okay, so there's different ways that you can play this. Obviously, you're going to get the most bang for your buck, you're going to get the most home run trades by going with the individual call or put. Okay, but there may be times where you want to lower your risk. You're not very confident on the overall market direction. Well, you can put on a spread. You're still able to participate from the market move and lower your risk. Okay, so now on Priceline, what am I looking at? Well, I'm flat. Okay, I closed out my position even though it kept running past my full target. Did I keep part of my position on? I did not. Once I hit my full target, the trade's done. The system is done. And I move on. So in this case, right now, as we speak, okay, we just got a long setup to print. Okay, it has not triggered in yet. The entry point is up at 943.96. Okay, so I'm currently flat. Now, if this trade triggers in, I already know where my targets are at, the white dots. I already know where my stop is at, which is the red dot, and I move on. It's easy as that. Okay, and I'm going to come back to this here in just a second, just to show you how I walk through these charts in just a matter of minutes every day. I just want to look at a few more trades here first. Let's go ahead and take a look at. Let me take a look and find it here. TLT. Okay, again, everything looks the same here. I'm looking at my sentiment indicator down at the bottom. I'm looking at my signal line up top here. In this case, we're looking at a range chart of 0.68. But in this case, we're going to play the downside. TLT is a bond ETF. It actually tracks the 20-year, to be exact. Okay, so on the downside, okay, this is the most recent trade on TLT. We got in at 107.13. Could I short the stock? Could I short the ETF? I could, but if you've tried shorting stocks in the past, you know how capital intensive that can be. It can really tie up a good portion of your account. Okay, but I still want to have the ability to play the downside. I would just rather do so with a lower risk and a lower capital outlay. So in this case, I knew my target once I triggered in was at 105.77 and 105.09. My initial stop was up at 109.68. So in this case, I went ahead and bought the August 109 put for $2.64. That gave me control of 100 shares of TLT at $109 a share, and I paid $264 per contract. So as you can see, much more reasonable for the smaller trader. Okay, if you've got a larger account size, you can put on multiple contracts here. These are very liquid products. So I did hit target. It wasn't the smoothest trade. Okay, we chopped around in here a bit, but the system, can you see how it picked the target almost to the tick? The system just has a great way of identifying those really key levels. and we hit this target almost to the tick. So I sold out of my position for $4.05. That gave me $141 of profit, or a 53% return. Okay, $141 does that sound like a lot? Not really. A few things to point out. Number one, it took a week's time. That was a very short holding time. Number two, you only put up $264 to begin with. Could you put on multiple contracts here and still keep your risk under $1,000? Absolutely. Okay, these are very impressive returns. Now, am I cherry picking here? Am I picking the best setups? I'm not. I'm just taking the most recent trades that were closed. So in this case, I close out my winner. I'm flat. Now I have a re-entry trade that's setting up. Okay, it just printed here today. And now I have another short set up at 104.20. Okay, it hasn't triggered in yet. Okay, I have plenty of advance warning that, hey, I know I need to get short if TLT gets down at 104.20. I have plenty of time to plan this trade out. The system does a lot of the hard lifting for me. If it does trigger short, I know where my targets are at. I know where my stop is at. All I have to do is put on the correct options position. Okay, I really, really feel comfortable with this style of trading. Okay, by trading a system that's very defined, where you know exactly where to get in and where to get out, it takes a lot of the emotional aspects out of trading. Okay, if you were short on TLT, and if I were to turn this calculator off, okay, if you got short here and the market started to move down, what happens when you hit 106 and you bounce up? Okay, if you don't have a calculator that's telling you where to get in and where to get out, do you think there's a chance there that you get out on this pullback? I think there's a good chance that many people kind of look at this level saying, hey, it held that 106 level, I need to get out. Well, it takes all of those question marks out of the equation, because if I turn this back on, all I'm doing is waiting for my targets or my stops to be hit. That's the great part about trading with a system like this. Let's take a look at Amazon. Okay, let me zoom in on this chart a little bit so it's a little easier to see. Okay, Amazon is currently short. This has been a very messy setup. Okay, everything looked good when I triggered in, but it's been choppy since. Okay, look at how the system has guided me through it. Okay, I got short here. Again, the system looks the same. I'm looking at the same indicator set, the same calculator, everything looks exactly the same. So my system told me to get short at 303.36. I went ahead and I bought the August 310 puts for $10. So $1,000 per contract. If you go back to our first webinar, we talked through how there's mini contracts available. On Amazon, we can trade minis. Not a problem. Okay, the minis allow you to get in for 1/10 of the cost. In this case, price actions just chopped sideways. I actually finally hit the first target here today. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to move my stop down to break even. Okay, so I mean, you can all see how weak the market is today. We're definitely due for a pullback. I think there's a great chance that we get down to this full target. But if it doesn't, this has been a messy trade, and my worst case scenario at this point is I'm out for a break even. Okay, it's about as stress-free as it gets for me. Okay, so I'm sitting here talking to you guys on this webinar. I've got open positions that are working. I'm not staring at every tick. I'm just letting them work. Now, some of you might be asking, okay, Mike, you said 20 minutes a day. Okay, if I were to look at this workspace, I've got 10 stocks shown here. Can you see how quickly you're able to work through these on a daily basis? My typical routine looks like this. I come in before the market opens. Okay, I go through all my charts. Okay, I take some notes down. Do I need to place any orders? If I'm in any trades, do I need to manage any orders? This typically takes me 10 minutes or less to do that. Okay, it all depends on how many setups there are. Okay, so then once the market opens, I'll come in, I'll place any trades that I need to, I'll manage any trades that I need to, and then I move on. And then throughout the day, I typically come in around lunch. I typically come in once during the afternoon, and when I do these checkups, it's typically done in 2 minutes or less. Very quick. And this is how I'm able to do it. If I just come in here and I look at FXI, this is the China ETF that I like to track. Okay, if we were coming in, and if I were doing my morning update right now, Okay, if I were to look at it, okay, I'm in a long setup on FXI. Okay, I know where my targets are on the upside. I know where my initial stop was on the downside. You'll see these horizontal lines on the chart. I always put horizontal lines just in front of the targets and in front of the stop. These have alerts set to the lines. So if I get those alerts triggered, I'll either send an alert to my computer, I'll have the alert sent to my cell phone if I'm out of the office, so I know it's time to come in and manage the trade accordingly. That's what gives me the freedom to move on. It allows me to get out of the office, get away from the desk. So in this case, I'm coming in and I'm doing my afternoon update. Well, now I have a short setup. Okay, so I'm going to move my stop on the long trade. I'm going to move it up. Okay, do I need to sit here and stare at this one for the rest of the day? I don't. I have my alert lines in place, and I just wait for the trade to play out. Okay, FXI is done. What about Bank of America? Very similar situation. I'm in a long trade. Price action is reversing here today with the market weak. Okay, not a problem. I have a short setting up. I mark that entry point with a horizontal line. That's my alert line. So I know if that level is hit, it's time to come in and place the trade. Whether that be to come in and place the trade on my computer or on my cell phone, I trade from my mobile platform all the time. Either from a phone or an iPad. It really allows me the freedom to get on and get other things accomplished throughout the day. Okay, we've already covered Priceline. Priceline's got a long trade. I could mark it with a horizontal line, and I just wait for that level to be hit. Okay, so now all of a sudden we've gone through 3 charts. We've gone through 3 charts in just a few minutes. Can you see how quick that is? All you're doing is you're coming in and you're identifying the setups, marking them with alerts, and then you're moving on with your day. TLT has a short setup. Mark it with my alert line, and I move on. Am I analyzing support and resistance? Am I drawing trend lines? I'm not. It's very, very simple and straightforward. Okay, again, I'm like you guys. Okay, I've used a lot of systems out there. I've tried a lot of different techniques. I've heard all of these struggles that people deal with. Well, you can't pick market direction. It's just random. It's very tough to be a stock picker. Well, I'm showing you a system here that's doing it for you. I disagree with the fact that you can't pick market direction because the system is doing it consistently over time. I'm seeing win rates of upwards of 70 to 80%. I'm winning 7 to 8 trades out of 10. Can I trade that with confidence? I absolutely can. That's why I love this system. Okay, so it looks great on paper, right? But again, I get all the same offers that you guys do. Okay, I know there's a lot of products out there. Okay, let's walk through what makes this one different. This is really going to be a comprehensive course on both the strategy side as well as the training side. Okay, so you might look at those charts and say, okay, it looks impressive, Mike. I mean, there's a lot of profit to be made, but how do I know what strategy to use? How do I know what option to pick? What are the best markets to look at? They're all valid questions. So here's what I've done to answer those questions. I've created the Premier Trader University Options Mastery Program. Okay, I've combined the last 11 years of my trading experience into one product. I'm going to teach you how to trade these products in 1 month's time. Okay, this took me a couple of years for me to get over the hump and really feel comfortable trading these products. I was stuck researching for years. I'm going to provide all the information that you'll need, and we'll do it in a month's time. That's a huge value. That's going to be a huge time saver for you. And as we head into the fall, this is typically one of my favorite times of year to trade. This allows you to get in, get a system in place, get some trade plans moving as we head into a great time of year to trade. So here's what you get. All of the custom-built indicators, the complete trading system that I just showed you, you'll have access to those indicators for life. Okay, the pre-programmed trade calculator that I just showed you, that gives you the entry points, the targets, and the stops, that's yours for life. Okay, I'm also going to add in a 2-day live training session where you'll be able to log into our online room, and we'll go through all the specifics on the system. I'll give you the rule set. I'll give you the best markets to trade, the best settings, all the little tricks of the trade that I've learned over the years of using these systems. I'm also going to give you access to 3 live Q&A sessions every week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll be able to log into the live training room and watch me trade live. Okay, I'll be trading my real account. I'm a full-time trader. I make my living from trading these markets. If I'm not making money from my trade now, I'm in trouble. So you better believe I'm going to be committed to making sure we're trading the best markets. We're taking the best setups. It's a perfect opportunity for you to ask questions in real time in a very small classroom setting. For those of you that are brand new, I've created an Options 101 course. It's a crash course to get you up to speed with all the basics, all the definitions, the terminology, everything you'll need to learn to be up to speed and ready for that 2-day live training coming up here in a few weeks. Okay, and the best part about this, it's available immediately. Okay, all of the material is right on our owner site. You can watch it today if you wanted to. And that owner site, I'm going to give you 30 days access to it. That's where we have all of the indicator downloads, the live training room. That's where we'll have all of the training videos. You can view it anywhere you have an internet connection. Okay, I was so sick of buying these products and having to keep track of DVDs and documents and PDFs. It's not necessary. Everything is going to be located in one central spot for you. Okay, the 2-day live training, it's going to be held on the 27th and 28th of August. Okay, they will be held online. You don't have to worry about making travel arrangements. It's not necessary. You'll be able to log in, and we're going to cover 8 of my favorite option strategies. Okay, I'm going to cover in detail the system that I just showed you on the charts. I'll show you exactly how to use it. I'll give you access to over 25 trade plans. That doesn't mean you have to trade all 25 markets, but it gives you a broad list of names that you can pick from. If that means picking 4 or 5 names, that's perfect. We're big believers in testing here at NetPicks. That doesn't mean historical results guarantee future success, but what it does is it builds confidence in the system. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how I create these trade plans so that you can trade it with the same confidence that I have. And of course, we'll record all the sessions, so if you can't attend live, they'll definitely be posted on the owner site, and you can review them as many times as you need to. Okay, what are the different strategies that I'm going to walk through? Well, we've talked about calls and puts here today. We briefly touched on verticals. We'll definitely be covering those. If you did nothing else but learn those 2 strategies, you're setting yourself up for a lot of future success. Okay, but we'll also cover some of the more advanced topics, things like ratio spreads, butterflies, iron condors, straddles and strangles, calendars. Some of you might be looking at those saying, those are pretty exotic. They sound pretty complex. They're really not. I'm going to give you step-by-step criteria, a whole checklist to go down through when you're placing those trades so you know exactly what you're looking for. Okay, like I said, if you just learn the basic strategies like calls and puts and verticals, you'll be fine. But I fully understand that there's people out there that want to take their trading and they want to run with it. They want to go in deeper. They want to get more advanced. And I'm going to give you access to all of these strategies. And of course, like I mentioned, we'll go into all of the details on the indicators and the system that I just showed you. The best range settings, the best markets, the best setups. We'll go through all of that in detail on the 2-day live training. Okay, the weekly calls on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is something that I really wanted to add because when I went back to my learning curve back 11 years ago, what I was really frustrated about is I was learning all this great knowledge. Okay, I was reading books, I was watching videos, but when it came to putting that into practice, okay, I felt like I had a good grasp of the concepts, but when I went to go place the trades, inevitably issues would pop up. Okay, and I would have loved to have somebody there just to run some things by. Hey, can you take a look at this trade before I place it live? So I really want to open it up for you to log into the room, ask me questions. I'm going to be an open book. Every question's a fair question. I mean, I'm not holding anything back. So it's going to be great because the markets will be live. It'll be a small setting. It'll be a great way to interact. And of course, these will be recorded and posted on the owner's site as well. Okay, what does the 101 course look like? Okay, this is for those of you that are brand new to options. You may be looking for just a quick refresher course. Okay, we're going to be covering all of the basics. Okay, we're going to strip it down to the very basics. We have to build a foundation that we can work off of in the live 2-day training. So we'll cover the key terms and definitions. the different pricing models, how can you use options as protection or speculation or volatility, what are in the money, out of the money, at the money options. All of the basics that you'll need to know in order to trade these markets we'll cover. And like I mentioned, these can be accessed immediately. They're available right away on the Owners Club. All right, so the Owners Club, I'm going to give you 30 days access. That's where you have access to the live training room. We'll have a model portfolio that you can track. We'll track it together so you can know exactly what to expect from the system. I'm going to give you access to all of those trade plans. Those trade plans literally took hundreds of hours to create. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into those. Okay, I'm giving you the best settings. I don't like to test. I love to trade, but I don't like all the hard work that goes into it trying to find those best markets. Well, I've done all that hard lifting for you. Okay, you're going to have plenty of different products to choose from. Okay, another breakthrough in my trading was the release of this Trade Assist automation tool. Okay, now when you see automation, don't look at this as a robot. It's not something where you flip a switch on and you let it trade for you. Okay, what this tool is for testing purposes. It really cuts down on the amount of time that it takes to create a trade plan. So for example, if I'm looking at a market and I find over the past series of trades that once I hit the target, those stocks just keep moving. I just blow through those targets and I end up leaving a lot of profit on the table. Well, I can use this automation tool to go in and analyze what it would look like if the system went for a bigger target. It'll show you the overall performance. We can also flip that around. If you're finding that you're not hitting a lot of full targets, the market's just not quite getting the big enough moves to get those full targets. Well, what if we go for smaller targets? This automation tool will help you. It'll give you a whole report telling you how profitable your system is based on the different settings that you're using. Okay, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use this. Okay, if you want to rely on me for the trade plans, that's fine. But I also have traders that want to take control of their trading. Going forward, they don't want to have to rely on me to create all the trade plans. They might find a stock that they're interested in. Well, I'll go through step by step how I use this tool to create my trade plans. So the first 30 days, they're free. After that, it's $97 a month. There's no obligation to continue here. Okay, if you cancel your owner's site membership, the system, the indicators, those are still yours for life. The only thing that you're going to lose access to is the ongoing training and support. So if you're good to go after 30 days, that's perfect. You can cancel it out. If you need a few more months to work through the material, to run some more questions by me, that's fine. You can go as long as you want. Okay, so we've already walked through results here, right? I mean, I showed you the last 2 trades on Apple. For the month of July, we took 2 trades, over $2,800 of profit. How about Amazon? Close to $900 of profit. The gold ETF, these are just recent trades. Most recent trades closed, $400 of profit. Netflix, close to $700 of profit. There's over $3,000 of profit right there. Okay, on just 4 different stocks. Now, how often are we winning? Well, like I said, we're winning 7 to 8 times out of 10. Okay, TLT, we already looked at that chart. That wins 83% of the time. EWJ, that's winning 71% of the time. Okay, so for those people that are out there saying you can't pick market direction, well, is being right 70 to 80% of the time? Is that good enough for you? You can definitely be profitable. When you combine an 80% win rate with a 98% return on a winning options trade, that's the recipe for success right there. Now, I'm not an emotional guy. I'm really not. I'm very level-headed. I don't really get too up. I don't get too down. But I can say this with confidence. Trading with the NetPicks system, specifically with the PTU system that I just showed you with options, it's been a game changer for me. It's changed my lifestyle. Okay, because I'm able to get these types of profits in as little as 20 minutes a day, and that allows me to move on. Okay, I'm not stuck working 60, 70 hours a week making money for somebody else. Okay, I have control of my career. I have control of my profit potential, my earnings potential. That's exactly what I'm looking for as a professional trader. Okay, so here's what I have for you today. Okay, I want to sweeten the pot a little bit. So for the first 15, I'll give you 2 one-on-one personal coaching sessions. Okay, if you have some questions that you'd rather ask one-on-one, you really don't feel comfortable asking in a group setting, that's fine. We'll connect. We can review your portfolio if you want to. If you've got trades that you want to take, but you'd rather have me review them before you pull the trigger, that's fine. I'll give you access to 2 sessions. Okay, I'll also extend your owner's club membership out 30 days. I'll give you 60 free days. And then I'll also knock off the $200 here. Okay, just for taking time out of your schedule today. The bad news, I have to limit it to 35 seats. Okay, I would love to bring on 100 people right now. But that's not fair to you guys. I want to make sure you get the individual attention that you need. Okay, so we want to keep it in a small setting. We want to have it be very interactive. So once we hit 35, I have to shut it down. And we will fill this class up. So if you're interested, I would recommend acting quickly before we do fill up. Okay, so here's a quick recap of everything I've covered. I know we've covered a lot here. Okay, so I'll give you access to the system, all of the indicators for life. That's a $1,500 value. That's vastly undervalued. Okay, I just showed you how in one Apple trade we returned $1,400. Okay, we could sell the system alone for multiples of this. Okay, I'm not going to do that to you. Okay, I'm also throwing in 2 days worth of live training. That's a $1,000 value. Okay, those are going to be 2 days packed full of training materials. That's 11 years of education wrapped up into 2 days. Okay, that's extremely valuable. The 101 course, you don't have to worry about reading books, watching videos in the meantime on the internet, on YouTube. That's not necessary. I put everything together in one spot for you. That's a $700 value. The 3 live sessions a week, that's a $300 value. Again, I'm an open book. You're going to watch me trade live. Ask any questions in a live environment. That's extremely valuable. Okay, what about the Owner's Club? That's a $97 value. Okay, so all that added up, we're looking at just over $3,500. I'm not going to charge you anywhere close to that. Okay, going back to when I started, I fully realized that as a small retail guy, you want to have access to as much money as possible to trade with. You don't want to tie up all your capital in training and systems. That's the worst thing you can do. So I'm going to keep this very reasonable for you. Okay, so total price $1,297. Okay, remember, just on 4 different positions, the last 4 trades, I showed you over $3,000 of profit. Okay, 1 winning trade, and you've got this system paid for. You're set up for years. Okay, if we need to split up into payments, I'm willing to split it up into 3 payments of $497. Okay, this is starting. This is owning your own business. This is being your own boss for $1,297. That's an incredible opportunity, and I really hope that you guys jump at that chance, because I really look forward to working with you and showing you exactly how I make money in these markets. So if you're ready to go, remember, I've got bonuses for the first 15. I have to limit it to 35. If you're ready to go, just type this link into your browser, netpicks.com/options. Okay, you can't click on this link, so just make sure you type it into your browser, and we'll get you signed up very quickly. Okay, but again, like I mentioned earlier, I get all the same offers that you guys do. Okay, why is this any different? Well, hopefully you can see that the system is very easy to use. It's very straightforward. It's very powerful. Hopefully that does enough convincing for you. But if it doesn't, I want to take all the risk off for you. I'm going to give you a 45-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Okay, if the system is not working how I promised it would at the end of 45 days, if you're not happy with the level of training that you've received from me, we'll give you your money back. Okay, I'm so convinced that this is a great way of trading, that you'll be successful, that I'm willing to take all the risk for you. Okay, and as always, NetPicks is really committed to providing the best support out there. We've got a team of people here ready to answer any questions that might pop up during the sign-up process, during the setup process, or the training. We've got a whole team of people ready to go to answer your questions. So it's not a product where you sign up and you never hear from us again. Okay, we're here. We're trading live in the markets each and every day. So again, here's the link to sign up, netpicks.com/options. I'm sure I've got a lot of questions, so I do need to get over and start answering those. If you would like to speak with us before signing up, here's the email and the phone numbers that you can go ahead and contact us, and we'd be happy to work through any questions that you might have. So at this point, Brian, why don't I throw it back to you, and we'll start working through some questions here.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Good information and a lot of questions to get through here. So just bear with us, as I did respond to a lot of you that Mike would answer the question at the end. And so that's the portion of the presentation that we're at right now. We want this to be very interactive. If we don't get to your question for some reason, feel free to pop it back into the text. So I'm going to start and kind of work backwards here just a little bit. This question came in from Larry R., Mike, and he's asking, what is the minimum sized account needed to take all the trades that you just covered? How can a trader, kind of get involved and have a good mix of trades and then have the proper account size?
Sure. A lot of brokers require you to have a $2,500 starting account. Okay, for a lot of the trades that I just walked through, if you go back to the webinars that we went through last week, I walked through how you can use the mini options. In a lot of cases, if you're starting out with a very small account size, you can trade the vertical spreads to lower your costs considerably. So there's a number of different ways that we can do this. You can also trade weekly options. I'm going to say that $2,500, that's a starting point. I would rather see you up towards that $5,000, ideally up to $10,000. So that would be a good starting point. But it really depends on the broker. I can show you how to get started with a very small account size. Not a problem.
Okay, again, just working my way back here. This one from John L. He's asking, will we be able to watch Mike trade in real time so that they can do the same thing? So why don't you clarify a little bit, Mike, that this isn't going to be a signal service, but you will be coming in 3 days a week, and kind of go over how that process is going to work.
Sure. Well, I will be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, I'm going to log into the training room. I'm going to be pulling up the charts. I'm going to be showing my broker platform. I'm going to be taking the trades live in that room. Okay, so yeah, I will absolutely be taking those trades live. Okay, I think that's really valuable to watch somebody do it in real time. It's very easy to, to pull up the charts and say, I wish I would have done that, or I would have done this. Well, watching it live in real time is totally different. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing 3 times a week.
Okay, Mel G asking what the bonuses are for the webinar. Mike just covered those. I'm not sure if you just popped in, Mel, but why don't you go back to that slide if you would, really quick, Mike. So you're going to get 2 one-on-one personal coaching sessions, an extra 30 days in the Owners Club, and we're going to take $200 off the price. So those are the bonuses for being with us on the webinar today. And let's see. Mike, real quick, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but Joel's asking, what times will you be doing that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday?
Yep. Right now they are scheduled for noon. Okay, but I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to start to poll the customers as they come in to see if we need to change that time. Right now, the best time is typically noon, because I know we have a lot of day traders in here. It allows you to get in, place some trades in the morning, and then attend the training. So at this point in time, it's going to be 12 noon Eastern.
Okay, next question is from Gene R. asking, is TradeStation necessary to use this system? That's a great question. So let me kind of cover that, how that process works. The examples that you saw today from Mike were on TradeStation. So yes, obviously, TradeStation charting will work. NinjaTrader is another option for you. And basically the way it is designed, you have to have one of those platforms to make what I call your charting decisions, your trade decisions. Then, as a trader, you have the option of trading with any broker of your choice. It could be Think or Swim. It could be Options Express. It could be Interactive Brokers. Those are 3, popular brokers that are used by our traders, or another one that you might see fit to use. And so that's how this approach works. All right, let me kind of go back here and make sure I get some of these that were back in time. Okay, Mel was asking this question, Mike, do you adjust the range once a month? So I'm not sure how much you want to give away on when you adjust the bar size of your charts, but that was his question.
Sure, I can't give away the formula, obviously. There's one calculation that we make once a month. But I do come in at the end of every month, and I go through all my charts, and I update the range setting for the next month. So once we get to the end of August, I'm going to come in. It takes about 10 seconds to do this, to take a look at the calculations very quick. And I'll set up my charts for the month of September. So it's very easy.
Justin G is asking, do you reverse your position if another setup happens in the opposite direction? Basically, I think he's asking if it's inside the stop. So
That's a great question.
okay.
I will reverse. With this being said, I do make one additional adjustment, and I walk through all of that in the training. So I'll walk you through exactly how I handle those situations, because there's one rule that I use that allows me to stay out of the chop. Okay, but the way the systems are designed, the way the trade plans are designed, we want to react quickly to changes in price. So we will reverse.
Paul G's asking, what is the criteria for picking the right strike price?
Well, that's a great question, and that's what we're going to cover in the training. There's a whole checklist of things that we look for. Once you go through the checklist, you're going to narrow it down, and it'll show you exactly what strike price to use, exactly what expiration cycle to use. I walk through all of my criteria in the training.
Ed G's asking, at what point do you buy the put when the entry price is reached, or when? At what when do you do that?
Well, sure. When I get a setup on my chart, just because a setup prints does not mean I get in right then and there. Okay, I have to wait for that entry price to officially be hit. Okay, so if I'm looking at Apple and I have a long setup and the entry is telling me to get in at 470, well, Apple right now is currently trading for 465.25. Okay, I'm not going to get into that call option. I'm not going to buy the call until we officially get up and hit that entry point. Okay, that's nice for us because even though a setup prints, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to make a split-second decision. We typically have plenty of time to get in, look at the charts, place the correct trade. There's really no time rush on many of these setups.
Back on that sizing the bar question, Mike, Al's asking, will they be able to do the range calculations themselves without Trade Assist?
They will. You'll have access to all of the calculations. There's an indicator that we use. You'll have access to all that. I'll walk you through all the tools that you'll need to use for the system. The automation is used more for testing purposes, which you'll also have access to.
All right. Ted's saying noon is a good time for him, so I'm sure you'll be getting feedback on the best time to do those Monday, Wednesday, Friday meetings. Let's see here. All right, I'm going back through, and it looks like we're pretty much caught up. So let me say that if there's any questions outstanding, if I haven't gotten to any, there have been quite a few that have flowed in, and I've tried to go back through and make sure that I've seen your question, but let's just give another few minutes here for any final questions to come in. The 15 is getting close. Looks like we're at about 10 right now. So if you want to take advantage of the bonus, go ahead and do that. And yeah, let me cover one other thing Mike just reminded me. For those of you that are brand new to TradeStation, there's a special promotion that we have that's called a scholarship. And basically, bottom line, it's going to get you the course for free. And all you have to do, and this information is in the Owners Club, by the way, all you have to do is give them a special code that we have inside the Owners Club, along with the contact information that we have. You got to talk to a specific person at TradeStation, and they're going to set you up. Again, this has to be a brand new options account. They'll set you up so that a 25% rebate on all commissions comes back to you up to the full value of the course that you're going to pay for today. So it's a great way to get the cost of the course, the options course, paid for over time once you start live trading. And again, the detail of that will be inside the Owners Club. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But bottom line, it's a great way to get involved today and then get some payback on your investment. Frank, Frank's saying that he tried to call in. I will obviously be available for calls after the fact, and so there were too many options. We can definitely help you out after we're done with the call. The WL's asking, is the 200 rebate subtracted from the $12.97? No, it's already taken off of the $14.97. So it's already, the $12.97 is the rebated price. Gene A, I'm going to respond to you in text. So look for that response here in just a second. As soon as I get off the mic, I'm going to respond to you. All right, James asked a good question. Is there a way for existing TradeStation clients to get the rebate on commissions from TS? James, unfortunately, you can try contacting TradeStation, the specific contact that we have, and see what he can do for you. Sometimes they can rearrange things. I can't speak for TradeStation, but that's what I would encourage you to do. The qualification that we've been told is it has to be a new account, okay? But he might be able to do some things for you in that regard. So reach out to him and see. It can't hurt to ask. Greg asking, can we use Trend Jumper for this? For those that don't know what Trend Jumper is, it's another strategy. Troy Noonan, who I showed you on the Brady Bunch slide, is the author of Trend Jumper. And so, Greg, the answer is yes. The thing that's different about what Mike's offering here is he's offering you the training on how to actually trade the options. The approach that you use, and he's also including PTU1, an approach that he uses. And so if you are familiar with options and you know the ins and outs and what to do, you can definitely use that method to trade options. Tom C., again, I'm going to respond to you. You're a PTU member. I'm going to respond to you in text, so look for that response here shortly. And that brings us pretty much to the end of the questions. Mike, I don't know do you see any other questions in there, in the mix here? I think we're pretty much done.
I don't. I think we got to everything. So to those of you that just signed up, congratulations. I really look forward to working with you here in the coming weeks. So thanks to everybody for joining us, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Mike, thanks for being on the call today. Do appreciate you taking time. And again, thanks everyone for being with us. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, give us a call, or contact us on the email. Have a great rest of today.